Hey guys, Caitlin here. I am doing a quasi-solo video today because this video is all about, well, women in brewing. So Alex and I are homebrewers in Portland, Oregon, and we've been brewing for about 3 years now. Up until this point, I'm going to be honest, brewing was really more Alex's thing than my thing. We brewed together and I know a lot about beer and a lot about brewing, but Alex was really the one who dove all in. He was the one who was taking meticulous notes. He was developing all the recipes. He was the one who was adjusting the water composition and all of those details. I was also an essential component of brew day. I stand by what I said. But this past year, a couple women in our homebrew club approached me and asked if I would be interested in helping organize the first annual She Brew Homebrew Competition, which is a BJCP homebrew competition for women identified brewers only. Yeah, of course I want to be part of that. So for my beer, I decided to brew a mushroom beer. And the reason for this was, a couple years ago, I went to the Oregon Brewers Festival. Guys, I can't keep track of this stuff. We live in Portland. We go to beer festivals every single day. And there was a mushroom beer there that was being hyped up. Everybody was talking about it. I was psyched about it because I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are one of my favorite food, and when I heard that there was a mushroom beer, I was like, that one, that is the beer that I want to try immediately. It was a fine beer. It was a good beer, but it was completely not what I was expecting. And here's why. They used candy button mushrooms. Why can't I? Something about candy mushrooms. And as the name would suggest, these mushrooms are not the savory, earthy sort of flavor that you expect from mushrooms. They're more sweet. They almost taste mapley. I mean, if I had tried that beer and you didn't tell me there was mushroom in it, I wouldn't know that there was mushroom in it. And to me, if you're gonna make a mushroom beer, it better friggin' taste like mushrooms, right? So I brewed a standard Munich Dunkel. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted a beer that was going to be malty enough that it would support the savory notes of the mushrooms, but not too malty that it would overpower the mushroom. I also wanted to find a beer that was not a smoked beer, but suggested smoky hints, because that's what I think of when I think of mushroom. And then of course, it had to be a beer that was going to support hop character that was more on the earthy end of the spectrum. So I looked through the BJCP guidelines and Munich Dunkel fit the bill. Then of course I added mushroom. I decided to use porcini mushroom. I chose this mushroom because I knew that it was flavorful, more flavorful than say white button mushroom or your standard grocery store mushroom. But I didn't want to spend a ton of money and get some fancy mushrooms. So I settled on powdered porcini because I found some recipes online where people had used that before, and it was available in the grocery store. Win-win. In addition to the mushroom, I added kombu. Kombu is a kelp seaweed thing. It's common in Japanese cooking. It is basically the definition of umami. Because as I was developing this recipe and I thought, okay, I'm definitely gonna add mushroom, but there has to be something to support that mushroom, something to round it all out. Similar to how salt works in baking, you don't necessarily taste the salt, but it really adds that brightness and pulls everything together. The kombu adds sort of a, I don't know, if you don't know what umami is, Google it, because that's what I was going for, and I ultimately named the beer What's Umami because Alex didn't understand what umami is. We're trying my beer for the first time. The entry deadline is tomorrow, and the competition is a week later. But we're trying it now because I have to declare a style for my beer, and it's a good idea while I can still make edits to the entry to try the style and make sure that, or to try the beer and make sure that it is to style. So Alex is here to help me because he wants to try it, but also because he is a certified beer judge. So I brewed my beer with the intent of it being a Munich Dunkel.
At least that's the base.
At least that's the base.
Overall, obviously, it's a spice, herb, or vegetable beer. It's just
Right.
a question of what sort of that underlying base style.
Right. So we're going to taste it and make sure that, A, we can taste the mushroom and the seaweed that I put in there, because I'm declaring them, but then also to make sure that I'm declaring the correct base style. Because even though I intended to brew a Munich Dunkel, I might have accidentally brewed something else.
Never know until you try. Ooh, nice little pop. It's been exactly 2 weeks since you bottled this, so it would make sense that it might still be a little under-carbonated. This is the very bare minimum for bottle conditioning, which is what you did. It's a little something, maybe herbal.
Yeah.
Hard to know if that's more of the
But it's
seaweed or
like
if it's more of the
a
hop.
sweet malty.
Definitely sweet, sort of a caramely.
Yeah.
Take a moment to look at the appearance. The deep copper to dark brown.
Okay, should we try it?
Yeah, let's do it. There's the mushroom.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's like just enough so that you're like, oh yeah, mushroom is definitely in there, but it's not weird or overpowering.
Yeah, wow. That's really interesting.
It's like savory up front, and then it blends into sweetness.
Yeah. But the
It's
finish
really
is
good.
fairly clean. It doesn't like
Yeah.
leave you thinking savory or leave you thinking sweet.
Yeah.
It kind of dries up a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes you want to go back for more, have another taste.
Sounds like a People's Choice winner. So the She Brew Homebrew Competition is in conjunction with the She Brew Festival. Here's where it gets a little bit confusing. The She Brew Festival is put on by the Human Rights Campaign Portland chapter, and it has been going on for a couple years now. Basically, it's a beer festival. They have a bunch of pro brewers there, and they are celebrating women in brewing, which is why it's called She Brew. But there really hadn't been a huge homebrew component. So this year we wanted to make a She Brew competition that was in conjunction with that, but also could be opened up to everybody beyond just Portland, so that it was an official BJCP competition. We had a little bit over 100 entries in our first year, which was incredible, from all over the country. And it was put on by a group of badass women brewers in our homebrew club and a couple of women who weren't in our homebrew club. The competition went really smoothly and it was just awesome. We're definitely going to be doing it again. And what was also really cool about it was that it was my first time judging a homebrew competition. I actually judged opposite of Alex. Okay, we just got finished judging our first flight of beers.
We got a mishmash of a bunch of British Isle stuff, which was a good category. We got some bitters, Irish red, we got Scottish wheat heavy. I'm missing one, a British brown ale. It was a nice flight.
And it was good. Nothing was bad. These women brought their A game.
A couple, honestly, like one I would say was a world-class ESB that was really enjoyable to judge and drink. A couple others were very much worthy of the prizes that they'll eventually win later.
Yeah. So now we get a break for lunch because eating when judging beer is important. Apparently. And then we have one more flight?
One more flight?
Maybe 2 flights? I think just 1 flight.
Depends on how big the flight is.
Woo! Not even 5 o'clock yet, and we judged 2 rounds of beers.
First panel was 7 entries, and the second was 12 maybe total.
So our first round, like we said, was Scottish, English, Irish ales. And then our second round was all of the lagers. So basically right?
Just every lager that was entered, yeah.
Every lager that was entered, they had to collapse into one category. It was really awesome. I think the competition went really, really well. As far as homebrew competitions go, it was like pretty much totally on time, really well organized. Like, that's what happens when you get women doing all the work. In terms of awards, they did do an awards ceremony. They did not announce the overall winner because that will be announced next weekend at the festival. But I got an honorable mention. I was in with my mushroom beer, the spice herb veg category. There were 15 total entries in that category. Who else? We had some other awesome women in our homebrew club who won first in their category.
Actually, one of the only reasons you got bumped out of the top 3 for spice herb veg was because Jen McPoland got the first place in that category. She also won with her American IPA.
Yeah. And she was one of the lead organizers of this whole thing, so that was really cool that she won. She's also going to have her beer, just that one, both of them? Probably just that one. The Vanilla Porter, which got first place in the Spice Herb Veg, at the She Brew Festival.
Megan Thompson took first place in specialty IPAs with a Belgian IPA, I believe.
And that was her first solo brew. So, like, that's what's so cool about this is that so many women have entered beer for the first time, or their own like solo brew for the first time. This is their first competition, their first time putting themselves out there. So it was just a really cool overall positive experience. There were obviously Alex judge, there were some male judges, but there were a lot of women judges who showed up, and I don't know, it's just been a really cool event. The She Brew Human Rights Campaign Festival, it's very important that we closely monitor who goes in which bathroom. Do you like your toilet paper going under the roll or over?
For the competition that happened last week. How many did we have? Entries?
104.
104 entries from all over the United States. So Jenna, you do the honors of announcing and what they win.
So the winner, her name is Amanda Weilman for Milk of the Gods Lambic. Amanda is from Salt Lake City, Utah. What Amanda wins is a $50 gift certificate to Brew Brothers, and if she's willing to fly out here, she gets to brew with the lovely Natalie.
And now we are going to announce the People's Choice Awards, which y'all voted on today, and the winner gets a 100-pound bag of malt, 50-pound bag of malt, which this is not, and a $50 gift card to. Are you serious? JK, you get malt. And this awesome little bag you get. And the winner, by your voting, is Chelsea Rose Northwest.
So it was just a really cool experience to celebrate women in beer, to work on something that was specifically for women brewers, because beer really is such a male-dominated culture. And I mean, dudes, I love that you love beer and I love that you're into it because you do awesome stuff. But ladies, beer is for us too. So it was just a really cool experience to be able to engage more women brewers and pull them into the community. We are definitely doing the She Brew Homebrew Competition next year. So ladies, if you are interested in entering this women-only homebrew competition, definitely check it out. It will be, I don't think we have dates 100% solidified yet. It will be up on the BJCP competition list soon, In the meantime, I've linked below all the social media and website things that will have the information shortly, if it's not up already, because we are working to get that up soon. But it will be at the end of February 2018 / potentially beginning of March, right around Women's History Month. So until we brew that mushroom beer again, or until the next She Brew competition, we'll definitely have more videos out. We are loving this medium. We are loving sharing our brewing knowledge and filming our brew days to share with you guys. So be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Let us know what you want us to make more content about. Let me know if you have any questions about my mushroom beer. I'm happy to share things, and we'll see you next time.